मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लाङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। नमयों विष्णुपादाय श्रीगौरप्रियमूर्तये श्रीमते भक्तिवल्लभतीर्थगोस्वामिनामिने कृपया क्षमताम् अपराधिजनं कलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधव देवपदं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, fourth chapter. We are reading about the how Srimad Bhagavatam has come into manifestation. So we read so far Shaunaka, who is the heading 60,000 other rishis in Naimisharanya. He is inquiring Suta Goswami, who happened to come there. He inquired, principally he had three questions to which now he is answering. The thing is, the questions are that in a particular yuga, at a particular time, Srimad Bhagavat has been written. But already there is existence of so many scriptures. The Vedas have been classified, Puranas are there, Itihasas are there, Sanhitas are there. Particularly Mahabharata, which is very, very vast literature, is there. Then what is the purpose of writing Srimad Bhagavatam again when there are so many scriptures? And when did this come into existence? Why in the first place? And who inspired Vedavyasa Muni to do so? Then Shaunaka further inquires that Sukadeva Goswami is a Brahmagya. He is completely situated in Brahman. His consciousness is completely fixed in Brahman. Therefore, his activities were like a madman, in the sense that ordinary people were not able to understand his dealings. And he would not stay at any place. He would not visit any Grihastha's house, and he would not stay there for more than the time that is required to milk the cows. The maximum he would stay is the time that is required to milk the cows. That's all. But then, why did he stay at the place of Parikshit Maharaj for a week? He has no attachment to anyone. Then why did he stay at the place of Parikshit Maharaj for a week? Otherwise Srimad Bhagavat would not have come. He spoke for a week. Therefore, why did he stay there in Parikshit Maharaj's place? And the third question is, Parikshit Maharaj, who is honored and greatly respected by all other fellow kings, they would bring honorarium, gifts, so many things to him so that Parikshit is pleased with them. Otherwise, they feared Parikshit for his power. So he was a very powerful king, very famous, very pious. He was very young in his early youthhood. Why Parikshit Maharaj, who is supposed to take care of his dependents, means all the subjects of the kingdom, giving up such responsibility, entered into forest at such a young age? He is not old man also. He is, freshly youthful. Why did he leave his, kingdom, his duties which a king is supposed to do, and enter into the forest? Please tell me in detail. And he also inquired that why did he even fast until death? What is the purpose of it? Please tell me. So these are the three inquiries that Shaunaka Rishi, representing all other 60,000 rishis, he has inquired Suta Goswami. We read this so far. Now we will continue from verse number 14, where Suta Goswami is, replying. Shri Suta Uvacha द्वापरे समनुप्रान्ते तृतीय युगपर्यये जातः पराशराद योगी वासव्यां कलया हरे। श्री सूत कहिलेन तृतीय युग परिवर्तनेर समय द्वापर युग प्रवृत्त हইলে पराशरेर औरसे उपरिचर वसु कन्या सत्यवतीर गर्भे विष्णुर अंशांशे महाज्ञानी कृष्णद्वैपायन वेदव्यास जन्म ग्रहण करियाछिलेन. So Suta Goswami now is replying to these questions one after another. Suta Goswami is telling, after the end of the third yuga, there are 4 yugas: Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. After the Tritiya yuga, in the third yuga, means after the end of 2 yugas, in the third yuga, Parivartaner Samai Dwapar Yuga Pravartita Hile, means when the third yuga is entering, that is when Dwapar Yuga is beginning, at that time Parasharer Aurase, Parashara and Satyavati. Satyavati is a daughter of Uparichara Vasu. So his daughter's name is Satyavati. From the womb of Satyavati and from the semen of Parashara took birth Krishna Dvaipayana Vedavyasa Muni. Krishna Dvaipayana Vedavyasa Muni, he is told as Vishnur Anshansha. He is the plenary manifestation of Vishnu. He is a partial manifestation of Mahavishnu and Mahagyani. He is a greatly knowledgeable person, because he is plenary expansion of Vishnu, therefore he is highly knowledgeable, and he took birth at the end, means in the third yuga, that is in the Dwapar Yuga. Shri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, कौन जुगे इत्यादि प्रश्नेर उत्तर दान प्रसंगे व्यासेर जन्म और कर्म समूहौ संक्षेपे बोलते चन द्वापरे इत्यादि. Now the question is that in which yuga, what was the time when Srimad Bhagavat has been written? Now that is the question. Now, in order to explain, how it came into existence, when it was written, what is the purpose of writing it, at first, Suta Goswami is starting to address from the appearance and the activities of Vedavyasa Muni itself. Because, he has written it. So, in the first place, what, inspired him to do so, what inspired him to write Srimad Bhagavatam, in order to tell that, his life is being narrated. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. এই রূপ বহু যুগের পর্যায় অর্থাৎ অতিক্রম যেখানে. So Many Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yugas have passed. They are called Chatur Yuga. Chatur Yuga means the four yugas combined is called Chatur Yuga. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. That is golden, silver and bronze and iron. These are the four ages in English. So Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. So these four yugas combined is called Chatur Yuga. So after the passage of several Chatur Yugas, it's not in the very beginning, but after the passage of several Chatur Yugas, Parjayo bolite punah punah avriti means many Chatur Yugas have passed. अमर को शब्द बहु जुगेर अतिक्रमे जे द्वापर ताहाते एवं ताहा श्री कृष्णावतार संबंधी जानते होइबे. And after many Chatur Yugas have passed, in the Dwapar Yuga, this particular thing has happened. The question is when Srimad Bhagavat came into existence. So in the beginning he is telling that after several Chatur Yugas have passed, in one Dwapar Yuga, in which Krishna also has advented in that particular Yuga. Kidrisha Dwapare Tritiye. What kind of Dwapara is it? It's the Tritiya, means the third Yuga. Sandhya Rupa, Yuga Rupa एवं संध्यांश रूप समस्त जुगे ये तीन प्रकार पय्या थाके. Okay. Now, in which part of Dwapar Yuga? Now you said that it is in Dwapar Yuga, but which part of Dwapar Yuga? Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is explaining every Yuga has three phases. One is the transition phase from the previous Yuga to this Yuga, and the next phase is the actual Yuga. Third phase is again the transition to the next Yuga, means the last phase of that particular Yuga. So these are the three phases of every Yuga. Means when Dwapara comes, the transition between Treta and Dwapara is the first phase. The next phase is the proper Dwapar Yuga, and the third is almost the culmination of the Dwapar Yuga. So now here, Kidrisha Dwapare, in which part of Dwapar Yuga? It is Tritiya, in the third phase. Third phase means in the final phase, not in the proper Dwapar Yuga, neither in the initial phase of Dwapar Yuga, but in the final phases of Dwapar Yuga, this has happened. Why? Because if you have read this before or heard this before, Srimad Bhagavatam is the one that is representing Sri Krishna. Vidura inquires, it comes later, Vidura inquires that after Sri Krishna has departed Dwapar Yuga, Sri Krishna departs this material world, where did Dharma take shelter? Where does Dharma lie? Where has it taken shelter? And where all religious principles are existing? Then, in reply, Narada Goswami is telling that after the departure of Sri Krishna, entire Dharma rests in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the place which is one which is non-different from Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Therefore, when Sri Krishna has departed, at that time he made his non-different Srimad Bhagavatam available for everyone. Because Srimad Bhagavat is non-different from Krishna himself. So this has come into manifestation to all of us for the purpose of the living entities at the end of Dwapar Yuga, which is when Sri Krishna has departed to the eternal abode. Therefore, here Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that this is in the third phase of the Dwapar Yuga, Srimad Bhagavat has been written, or Vedavyasa Muni has come into existence. वासवीते बोलिते उपरिचर वसूर बीर्ज होइते जात कन्या सत्यवतीर गर्भे. Now, one time, Parashara Rishi, Parashar Rishi, he was passing through the Yamuna, and the boatman, actually boatwoman, was Satyavati. She was the one who was driving the boat in which Parashar Rishi was to cross. Then Parasar Rishi saw that the time, the celestial, all the stars that are in the celestial sky, they are very properly arranged, and it is the time appropriate for a great personality to take birth. He saw this as an opportunity, and then together with Satyavati, he gave birth to Vedavyasa. And Vedavyasa, immediately after giving birth to Vedavyasa, Parashar Muni left. And Vedavyasa also, he is such a knowledgeable person, he also left. He told that, my dear mother, whenever you remember me, I shall be there. I have accepted the renounced order, I shall not stay at home, but whenever you remember me, I shall be there at your disposal. That is why later, Pandu, he gave birth to Pandu, King Pandu, Dhritarashtra, because his mother has remembered Satyavati. Later, she became, the queen of Hastinapura. So it's an entire thing is there in Mahabharata. Those who have read Mahabharata, they will know this. Later, Vichitravirya, the son, he dies at a very early age, prematurely. Therefore, Hastinapura has no king, no ruler. How will there be, further, rulers and kingdom, the king's dynasty going further? Then Satyavati remembers Vedavyasa. So Vedavyasa comes, and then through Ambika and Ambalika, Dhritarashtra and Pandu are born. And through Dasi, the female servant, Vidura is born. So later, Pandu and Dhritarashtra, they rule. So in this manner, Satyavati gave birth to, the first child of Satyavati is Vedavyasa Muni, through the semen of Parashar Rishi. So now this has happened in the final phase of Dwapara Yuga. Sa kadachit saraswatya upasprisya jalang shuchihi vivikta eka asin udite ravi mandale. সেই পরাশর তনয় ব্যাসদেব কোনো এক সময়ে সূর্যোদয়ের পর সরস্বতী নদীর জলে স্নানাদি সমাপন করিয়া পবিত্র হইয়া বিজন বাদরিক আশ্রমে এক মনে উপবিষ্ট ছিলেন. So that Vedavyasa Muni, now he is not going into the detailed sketch of Vedavyasa Muni, because the question is how Srimad Bhagavat has come into existence, why he has written it. So then he is directly coming into the topic, Suta Goswami, that one day the son of Parashara, that is Vedavyasa Muni, after the sunrise, he took bath in the Saraswati river, and then he performed his morning, sandhya, etc., the chanting of the hymns, etc. And then after purifying himself on the banks of the Badrikash, on the banks of this Saraswati, the Badrikashram is there. In the Badrikashram, he is sitting in solitude, in deep contemplation. He is contemplating on something, meditating on something, and he is sitting alone in Badrikashram. परावरज्ञः स ऋषिः कालेनाव्यक्त रंहसा युगधर्म व्यतिकरं प्राप्तं भुवि युगे युगे भौतिकानां च भावानां शक्तिह्रासं च तत्कृतम् अश्रद्धधानान् निस्सत्वान् दुर्मेधान् हरसितायुषः दुर्भगांश्च जनान् वीक्ष्य मुनि मुनिदिव्येन चक्षुषा सर्ववर्णाश्रमाणां यद्दध्यौ हितम् अमोघ दृक् भूत भविष्यत वेत्ता सर्वज्ञान संपन्न से वेदव्यास दिव्य चक्षु द्वारा प्रतियुगे कालेर गूढ़ भेग वशतः पृथ्वी ते युग धर्मेर विपर्जय उपस्थित देखिया एवं सही काल प्रभावे पंचभौतिक वस्तु अर्थात देहादि सामर्थ्य देखिया एवं मानवगण के श्रद्धाहीन अधैर्य मंदमति अल्पायु भाग्यहीन दर्शन कुरिया जहाँ सकल वर्ण और सकल आश्रमेर मंगलप्रद तद विषय चिंता करते। Vedavyasa Muni is a knower of past, present and future. He has knowledge of all the three times. So, and he also has all entire knowledge. He is fully cognizant of everything. That Vedavyasa Muni, through his divine vision, he could see that the Yuga Dharma, in every Yuga, in every millennium, the Dharma, the religious duties that are ordained for that particular Yuga or that millennium, they are declining with the influence of time. He's seeing that, with the time is passing so quickly, and with the passage of time, the Yuga Dharma, the particular religious duties of that every Yuga, not only of the past, of the future also, is seeing that in every millennium the Yuga Dharma is declining so quickly. And he also saw that according to, with the influence of time, this material body is also losing its power. Now when the child is born, then he is grown up, then he is very powerful, and then slowly the power of the body, the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of everything is slowly coming down. Means he is seeing that with the influence of time, the bodily, the physical strength and everything, it is dwindling. Yuga Dharma is also coming down. And not only that, with the passage of time and with the passage of every millennium, the living entities, faith is also declining. They are becoming more and more faithless with the passage of time. And adhairya, very, less determined, or having no patience. They are losing determination. They are losing patience with time. We see, these days, we see that even today we see, whatever we see, 100 years ago, whatever, determination and whatever patience the people used to carry, it's not there today. With the change of generation, with the change in generation, we are seeing that, the determination is going down. And the faith is going down, in not only in devotion, in day-to-day things also. The faith in the parents, the faith in the society, the faith in other, social duties and responsibilities, everything is coming down. Forget about, faith in, religious activities and devotional activities. But in general, people are turning more and more faithless with the influence of time. We are seeing the experience over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years for whatever life we have been, living on this earth. But Vedavyasa Muni could see this, that, it's happening and it's continuing to happen in the future also. Therefore, mandamati, and not only faithless and, lack of determination and lack of, patience, but they are also becoming more and more ignorant. Now we may say, no, people are not ignorant. With every newer generation, they are becoming smart. they are more intelligent. But actually, that intelligence is not called intelligence according to scriptures. That's material, mundane. They may be smart materially, but spiritually they are becoming more and more dull. They are getting more and more further away from spirituality. So whatever we may say, that with every change in generation, there is smartness increasing, intelligence is increasing. When we were child, and when now the children, they are very very intelligent compared to what we were. But that is material. But Vedavyasa Muni is not thinking about how materially people are doing good and how materially they will good and they will become good or prosperous. But he is seeing that they are becoming more and more mandamati, less and less intelligent, alpayu, and the time their duration of life is also reducing, bhagyahin, and top of it they are all, what is it called, fateless. They have no good fate, ill fortune. Why ill fortune? Because fortune is Krishna Bhakti. Those who have Krishna Bhakti, they are very fortunate. Those who have no Krishna Bhakti, they are ill fated. So, seeing all these things, Vedavyasa Muni is worried about how I can bring welfare to all these people. Now, with time, everything is declining. How can I what should I do to bring welfare upon the living entities who belong to various varnas and ashramas, to the social and religious responsibilities? There is the religious category, the brahmacharya, vanaprastha, grihastha and sannyas, and the social category is also there, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra. So how can I bring the welfare to the living entities of various social and religious orders? So he is thinking about this by sitting on the banks of Saraswati in Badrikashram. चातुर्होत्रम कर्म शुद्धम प्रजानां वीक्ष्य वैदिकम व्यदधाद यज्ञ संतत्यै वेदम एकम चतुर्विधम. सेई वेदव्यास होता उद्गाता अध्वर्यु ओ ब्रह्मा नामक ऋगादि वेद चतुष्टये ऋत्विक द्वारा अनुष्ठेय वैदिक यज्ञादि कर्म लोकेर शुद्धिकर देखिते पाइया अविच्छेदे यज्ञानुष्ठानेर जन्नो एक वेद के चारि भागे विभाग करिलेन. Now when he is contemplating upon how can I bring welfare upon the living entities, this is the duty of the great souls. Materially motivated person, he always thinks about how I can get prosperity, how I can become rich, how I can become famous, what should I do to bring my own personal welfare or benefit. These are overly materially engrossed people. All of us, usually, people in general. Even after coming into the line of Krishna Bhakti, we are more worried about our own, material, physical comforts. Even after understanding so much or listening so much. But great personalities, they always think about the welfare of the people at large, not about their personal comforts. Vedavyasa Muni, who is an acharya, acharya means by his own personal conduct, he gives instruction to everyone. What should be the duty of an acharya or a teacher? A teacher should not be worried about his own personal comforts. A teacher should always worry about how can I bring welfare upon others. The true teacher, spiritual teacher particularly, any teacher for that matter, but particularly the spiritual teacher, he should be thinking about bringing upon the welfare of all the living entities. So Vedavyasa Muni, he is not thinking how I can get happiness, how I can get prosperity. No, he is worried about everyone, not only his contemporaries, but also for the times to come, for the future. This is the greatest, contribution of the rishis. That is why all of us, we have got debts, we are indebted. Devarshi, Bhuta, Apta, Pitra, Nrinam. We are indebted to 7 persons. Devarshi, we are indebted to the Devatas. Why Devatas? Because they are supplying whatever is required for our body. Wind, fire, water, light. Who is supplying? The demigods are supplying that. So we are indebted to all the demigods. Because we have turned on the light and the fan, we need to pay to the electricity board. We have put the cooler, we have to pay to the electricity board, we have to purchase that particular instrument. So whatever we are getting benefit out of, we are to pay. But to the demigods we are not paying anything. So we are indebted to the demigods. And rishis, we are also indebted to the rishis. Why the rishis? Because the rishis have given us the proper way of living. How to live in this material world. They're like the teachers. They are thinking about the future of all of us. We are not thinking about our future. Today is good, fine. But the rishis and munis, they are worried about our future. Like even the people who are trying for global warming and all these things, they are also one kind of rishis only, the modern rishis. They are also worried about global warming and how water can be saved. All these are some kinds of activities in order to, they are thinking about the future. So those who have started such kind of movements and all these things, we are actually indebted. We are not thinking that if we don't save water today, tomorrow is going to be a problem for us. We are not able to think, today I am fine. So the rishis, they are always worried about, or they are always warning us to think about the future. And they are giving us a proper life. This is the way you have to do. You have to, while living in this material world, you have to perform activities like this. Therefore, we are indebted to the rishis also. So, we are all indebted to Vedavyasa Muni. Because Vedavyasa Muni, even without asking for, we haven't asked for it, but yet he thought about our welfare and then he has provided it. So here, now he's sitting on the banks of Saraswati in Badrika Ashram and then he's thinking that how can I bring welfare? Then he thought there is only one way. That is, everyone should perform yajna. And that yajna should be continuous. Means it's a kind of karmakanda activity. Karmakanda means it's an activity. Yajna means what? What is the purpose of performing yajna? For the yajna purusha. Yajna is performed for yajna purusha. Yajna purusha means master of yajna. Who is master of yajna? Yajneshwar. Who is called Yajneshwar? Krishna is Yajneshwar. Krishna or Vishnu is the Yajneshwar. He is the Ishvara. He is the master of yajna. He is the yajna purusha. He is the enjoyer of the yajna. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. I am the bhokta, I am the enjoyer of yajna tapasa. All the austerities, whatever austerities we perform, we think that, I am going to enjoy the fruits of this. No, Krishna is the enjoyer of the whatever austerities we are performing. Yajna, whatever yajna sacrifices we are performing, I am going to enjoy, I am going to become, Indra, or I am elevating myself to the heavenly planets or to Brahmaloka. I am going, no, We are not the actual enjoyers. The actual enjoyer is Krishna. That is why he says, Gyatva mam shantim richati. If you think that you are the enjoyer, you are going to be in trouble. But those who know that I am the enjoyer of the yajna, shantim richati, he will be at peace. Because his activities will be to please the Supreme, not to please himself. The material sense organs, they will never be pleased. How much ever we may endeavor, how much ever fuel we may supply to the sense organs, they will never say, yes, we are done with it. Now we can do any other activity, I am satisfied. The eye will never say that, yes, I am satisfied now. The tongue will never say that, yes, I am satisfied, now you don't have to please me any longer, you can eat whatever you want. The tongue is not going to say that. Because these are, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, our senses are merciless masters. Master, please, is pleased after performing, a servant has performed, oh, very nice activity you have done. But these senses, they are merciless masters. They have no mercy. They won't say, okay, enough, I am done, you can do whatever you want. They will never, they are merciless. They just keep on demanding. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, for how long will I supply to these merciless masters? My merciful master is Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. When will my mind submit to him? So, here, those who understand that Yajna Purusha, the enjoyer of Yajna is Vishnu, Gyatvam, who knows it, Shantim Richati, he will be peaceful. Otherwise, he will be in trouble. So, here, Vedavyasa Muni is thinking that Yajna is the only way. Why Yajna? Because this is an activity by which one is offering one's own objects of pleasure to Yajna Purusha. You understand? I like nice food. Offer it to the Yajna Purusha. Offer it to the fire sacrifice. I like whatever, because the sense organs, they are attached to the objects of the sense organs. Now these objects, when they are offered to Yajna Purusha, to the Supreme Lord, then naturally our mind will go there. Therefore, the purpose of Yajna is to offer the objects of our sense organs in the service of Vishnu. That is the purpose of Yajna. So Vedavyasa Muni thought that I need to, give the process, and that is Yajna. And how that is to perform? Aviccheda, continuously. This Yajna has to be performed continuously. Therefore, he thought that, okay, then let me divide the Vedas. Earlier there was only one Veda. That Veda he has further classified into 4 categories. And they are Hota, Udgata, Adhvaryu and Brahma. In order to perform any fire sacrifice, these 4 persons are required. One is Hota, other is Udgata. We will go into that meaning of this in detail. In the purport it is written. One is Hota, other is Udgata, third is Adhvaryu and fourth is Brahma. Like, person who is making preparations, person who is chanting the Vedic hymns, person who is overseeing that there are no, defects in the Yajna, and the person who is actually performing Yajna. These are the 4 categories that are required. Therefore, he has divided the Vedas into 4. What are the karma anushtanas? What are the kinds of activities that are required to perform Yajna? One Veda. What are the hymns that are to be chanted while performing Yajna? Another section of Veda. And how to oversee that there are no defects in the Vedas? One part of Yajna. In the Yajna, one part, another department of Veda. In this manner, he has divided the Vedas into 4 parts. Because it will be very difficult for the living entities to understand what is what. Therefore, for the welfare of all the living entities, he has classified the Vedas into 4 categories. Oh, okay. So time is up. We will read the purport to this tomorrow, wherein a little detailed it is mentioned by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So we will go through the purport tomorrow. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गांधर्विका गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन पंचतत्वात्मक श्री गौर हरि की जय। जय परमाराधितम पतित पावन स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशनकारी भक्त वत्सल भगवान श्री सिंहदेव की जय। भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय। जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत नारायण महाराज की जय। समागत हरिकथा श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।